Good afternoon. The Prime Minister has today said websites that pose a threat to people being bullied should clean up their act and show responsibility. It comes after the father of a teenager who killed herself appealed directly to David Cameron to get sites regulated. 14-year-old Hannah Smith was found hanged in her bedroom at her home in Lutterworth in Leicestershire on Friday. She'd been abused on the website Ask FM.
First of all, the people that operate these websites have got to step up to the plate and show some responsibility in the way that they run these websites. Second point is, look, just because someone does something online, it doesn't mean they're above the law. If you incite someone to do harm, if you incite violence, that is breaking the law, whether that's online or offline. But also there's something all of us can do as well as parents and as users of the internet, and that is not use some of these vile sites. Boycott them. Don't go there.
Well, before the Prime Minister spoke out about this tragedy, Hannah's father spoke exclusively to the Daily Mirror newspaper.
The last memory I have of Hannah the night before is going into her on Thursday night, turning round to her and saying, "Good night, I'm going to bed." And she turned round to me and says, "Good night, Dad, I love you." And that's the last memory I have of Hannah. I was 50 miles away in a lorry, and I got a phone call from Joanne to say Hannah has hung herself. They need to look at the regulations on websites now and sort it out, because the laws ain't changing. If nothing else, they need to be regulated, and they need to stop people from doing this.
Ask FM, the website on which Hannah Smith was targeted, said all reports are read by our team of moderators to ensure that genuine concerns are heard and acted upon immediately. And we always remove content reported to us that violates our terms of service. A public inquiry has begun to determine whether gypsies who are forced to leave an illegal camp near Solihull can return to the land they own. Solihull Council refused permission for 2 temporary pitches next to the site in Meriden, which they left last year. Kate Fisher reports.
This yard is the latest site in a long-running legal wrangle between the council and the gypsies. The gypsies want to put 2 caravans on here temporarily for 12 months, whilst the council gets land ready for them on Old Damson Lane in Solihull. It's of course right next to this field where they used to live for several years before they were forced to leave earlier this year. They want to put 2 caravans here, one for the landowner's mother and one for a family friend who has serious mobility issues. But the protesters who live locally say this land simply isn't suitable for vulnerable people.
The site floods, it's inaccessible, it's cut off in the snow, there are serious car accidents in that lane. This is no place to put vulnerable people, elderly and disabled people, which is what they're proposing to do.
But not everybody who lives here has a problem with the gypsies. Neighbour Barbara Cook said she'd welcome their return.
Nice people, got on well with all of them. I knew 19 of them quite personally, you know, up and down the lane. I like them.
The public inquiry is set to last 5 days. At the end of it, the planning inspector will report to the Community Secretary, Eric Pickles, who will make the final decision. Kate Fisher, ITV News, Meriden.
A huge fire at a recycling plant in Smethwick cost West Midlands Fire Service more than £100,000. The blaze at the J-Plus Plastics plant on June the 30th was started by a floating sky lantern. At its height, more than 200 firefighters were involved. The service is asking for the government to help cover some of the cost. Leicester City Council has approved plans for a new King Richard III Centre in Leicester. The former Alderman Newton School building at St Martin's Place will host the permanent £4 million exhibition. It's due to open in spring 2014. Now let's get the weather forecast from Lucy.
It's so hot over there, this guy says he can fry an egg on his head.
Well, that's just stupid. Fancy breakfast?
Hello. Well, a heads up for the weekend. Saturday is looking like the driest and brightest day. Between now and then, we've got a few showers and longer spells of rain. Through this afternoon, the cloud bubbling up a little bit, and it's going to be thick enough in places to catch 1 or 2 showers, but it will stay mostly dry. Highs of 23 degrees Celsius. And then tonight, we've got a band of rain moving in from the west. It's going to be sweeping eastwards overnight, gradually clearing through tomorrow. Your pollen's next.
Flybe, sponsors of ITV Central Weather.
Suffering from hay fever? ITV Pollen Count is sponsored by Benadryl.
Well, we're looking at moderate pollen levels through this afternoon in the sunny spells, but they'll dip slightly tomorrow to low in the more unsettled conditions. Have a nice day.
And just before we go, there are details of the draw from the second round of the Capital One Cup on itv.com/central. I'm back with Matt Teal for ITV News Central at 6. Hope you can join us then. For now, though, from the team, bye-bye.